I'm sailing into Sydney, and this is where old William Buckley thought he was heading all those years ago. Unfortunately, he missed the mark by about 1,000 kilometres, ending up somewhere near Geelong. Hang on, I don't know how to drive a boat. That's better. Well, let's continue following his journey around Port Phillip Bay with a stop in to Bad Shepherd Brewing. Let's head there now. I should say you'll head there now. I'm going to stay here hanging out with the world famous bridge, but I'll also be there, admittedly. I was there earlier, but I'll be there with you now in the near. Look, I'll be here and also.
He's out there, somewhere, crossing country, north to south, east to west, following rainbows for the liquid pot of gold. The man is amber obsessed. He's conquering fears, drinking boutique beers, just for you and me. He's a man on a mission, a liquid dietitian, a bearded brewery magician. He's the beer pioneer. He is the beer pioneer. He's the beer pioneer. He's the admiral of cheer. He's the admiral of cheer. He is the amber cavalier. He's the amber cavalier. And he's the malted musketeer. He's the malted musketeer. He is the bevvy buccaneer. He's the bevvy buccaneer. Oh yes, he is the beer pioneer. Oh yes, he is.
When William Buckley escaped the Colin settlement, he made a beeline north for Sydney, but unknowingly, he just followed the coastline of Port Phillip Bay. I've done the same. My next stop is Bad Shepherd in Cheltenham. I used to live just down the road when I was younger, and there was no Bad Shepherd back then, or any craft breweries for that matter. First up, I'm meeting Derek, who started Bad Shepherd with his wife Dee Dee in 2015.
Appreciate you coming and making this area cooler after I headed off. Were you always a beer lover?
No. In fact, I didn't really know much about beer and what beer can be until Christmas 2009. I was given a homebrewing kit. I fell in love with craft beer through making my own. And I had a few gateway beers around then, so Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, Little Creatures Pale Ale, those things drew me in, and started making my own beer, and before I knew it, I had 6 different beers going at once at home, and just fell more and more madly in love with it and decided this is something I need to do.
That's a pretty quick turnaround from discovering a love for it and then 6 years later starting your own company.
I worked at Kraft Foods for 15 years in senior brand management role at the time, and negotiated to go down to 4 days a week, and spent 2 days a week brewing at Mornington Peninsula Brewery. Then we found this place, and here we are.
Yeah, right. So I mean, Kraft's another icon as well, really. So was Vegemite there at the time?
Yeah.
Matt, this is a beer show. Ask him about beer. Don't waste his time on the delicious beer byproduct, Vegemite.
So when we started, we had, I think, 4 core beers and usually 1 or 2 rotationals. Now, we generally have 17 beers on tap, and we have plenty more sitting in barrels, and just a breadth of beers ready to go. And we're looking at about 20 to 30 new beers we'll launch in the next year. So it's pretty cool. Every month we do about 2 new beers.
And do many survive, or are they sort of just limited releases? And
usually limited. The odd ones do survive. Probably the ones that we're most proud of and that we really enjoy making are our Brew Crew series. So any permanent staff member at Bad Shepherd gets a chance to make their own beer. So nice. We're up to 13 now. So and we've had all sorts of different beers we've made in that period. So from things like Sticky Date Stout to Rose and Hibiscus Goza. And they always had a story. We had a peanut butter porter that we launched as a brew crew beer. Our head chef wanted to make a peanut butter beer. It sold so well that this year in April we brought it back as a core beer.
Oh, peanut butter beer. Sounds like what dreams are made of. I'll be having a go at one of those later.
Kraft would have had a peanut butter, right?
Yeah.
Matt, stop talking about iconic craft spreads. This is a beer show. Stay on beer.
Our can was inspired by the craft.
Yeah, just on the other side of copyright.
Yeah, that's
inspired.
right. Yeah, that's right. The safe side. Our logo was something that we struggled with right down to the very end. So my wife Dee Dee and I, when we co-founded Bad Shepherd, she looked after the design side of things, and her friend Vienna was doing our design at the start, and we were struggling with her, trying so hard, the three of us. And Vienna was actually at the gym on a treadmill, and for the moment came up the idea of a ram's head, and she scribbled it out and sent it on her phone, and we had a look and said, that's it. It's literally a ram's head with the Shepherd instruments integrated in. So on one side you've got the Shepherd staff, and on the side you've got a scythe. So, but it's a flat image of a ram's head. So
Yeah, it's great.
yeah, it's really cool.
She's just at the gym thinking of scythe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she uses the gym to design logos. I use the gym to design a beautiful body that's been chiseled out of stone. Before we go any further, let's meet the brewer.
So we've got Craig, the head brewer here, who's going to give me a little tour of this place. Hey Craig, thanks.
Hey Matt, how you going?
Hey, pretty good. How about you?
Yeah, good mate, good.
I'm loving life, to be honest. I'm here in a brewery. This is your life, but it's nice to come and visit.
Yeah, no, it's I can think of worse ways to spend my time.
I like it because you could easily be like, hey, honestly, it's hard work. It's important you respect me, but you're like,
Yeah,
let's be honest, we'll make a beer.
that's it. It's all about living the dream. Not to say that it's not hard work.
All right, Craig, maybe your job is slightly harder making the beer than mine is going around filming and drinking the beer, but we're splitting hairs now.
Do you mind showing us around a bit?
No, absolutely, mate. Come on through. This is our canning line. We decided to move our core range of beers from bottles into cans.
Yep.
They present a lot better. They're a lot better for the quality of the beer, so they don't let in any UV light. They're better from a transport perspective. They're a lot lighter.
Plus, you can bring cans into festivals, then crush them on your head in a show of strength.
It's a bit of action over here.
Yeah, so we're just finishing up a brew day at the moment.
While I'm here, I might as well pitch in, so it's time to do some very important and highly sophisticated work.
Matt, I thought we might put you to work today and get you to give us a hand shoveling out some spent grain.
All right, it's not exactly what I had in mind, but work is work, and it's just nice to be involved.
What is this we're pulling out here?
So this is the spent grain from the brew.
Yep.
So the grain sits in the mash tun for about an hour, while all of the chemistry side of the brewing process works. So the enzymes that are naturally found in the malt convert the starches to sugars.
Right.
So at different temperatures, different enzymes are more active, creating different types of sugars depending on what kind of beer we're making.
Did you get all that? Because I certainly did.
And then at the end of the brew, this is what we're left with, a bunch of soggy grain.
Right, and what happens to the soggy grain from here?
We've got a farmer that comes and collects it, and he feeds his cows.
Oh, his cows, I thought you were going to say his family. Yeah, right.
Well, I think his cows are part of his family, so...
Oh, this feels good. Am I nailing it?
Mate, you're smashing it.
Want to see me do this from 10 different angles?
It smells nice.
Especially when we're brewing beers like our hazelnut brown.
I reckon you could get people to pay you to do this. This is relaxing, getting a full body workout. I feel like I'm toning my side oblique. I reckon I'm with the cows. I could eat this stuff.
I think you found your new calling, Matt.
Did we overshoot this scene? Maybe. Did I get roped into doing manual labour? Sure. Did I oddly enjoy it? Yes. Yes, I did.
All right, all done. Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I reckon that's good to go. So yeah, get another thing going.
Just whip it up.
Yeah.
Yep, nice. Hey, I'm just about to go and do a bit of a bench trial for a new recipe that we're working on. If you want to come and have a bit of a play with me.
I would love to have a play with you.
Who wrote this script? Anyway, something I've been wanting to say for a long time. After the break, it's science time.
I reckon a perfect take, personally, but.
We used to be a bit behind in the whole craft beer scene in Australia, but we're catching up quick.
Melbourne's very advanced in the culture here. Melbourne and Perth, I think, have been the from what I've seen of all the capitals.
I mean, till not that long ago, Australian beer was just one style almost.
Yeah, but I think in the late noughties and then into the 2010s, I think it really started to pick up, and that was probably spawned by Stone and Wood. They're the giants that have helped everybody else along. I'm really good friends with the owners and the CEO. They've mentored me. They've been a big help to everybody. So.
Something that I didn't really realise is something so nice that it sounds about the Australian craft beer industry.
Yeah.
Everyone's helping each other
yeah.
out and everyone seems to be friends.
Yeah, it's incredible. And just the little things, like if we run out of something here, we'll pick up the phone and drive down the street and pick up something from somebody else, borrow it. It's like borrowing a cup of sugar from your neighbor.
Yeah.
Like it just works, and we'll do the same for them.
I mean, at the base of it, you're kind of all competitors, but I guess the rising tide lifts all
Raise
ships.
all boats, yeah. We're all local, and we all fight for quality and consistency of good beer, which requires consumers to shift their taste to realize there's more than fizzy yellow lager out there. And so we're all gaining, if we work together, we gain market share from the major corporate breweries.
Derek is all about local brewing, so much so that he's even sourced a 100-year-old Melbourne yeast.
I was out walking my dogs down in the bay, and I was listening to a podcast from a beer historian, Peter Simons. He's in Sydney, writes a lot of beer books, and he was in the UK. And on a whim, he went to the National Yeast Archive, which I can't believe there's a thing, but he did. And lo and behold, registered there was a stored cryogenically frozen yeast banked in 1936 called Melbourne No. 1. He researched it a little further and discovered that in 1889, a yeast was isolated in Ballarat called Melbourne No. 1. It was the world's first viable ale yeast, but it fell out of favor for some reason in the mid 20th century. But he found out about it, told a yeast bank in San Diego about it, who sourced a copy of it and put it into their vault. I contacted them and asked them if we could use it. They said no, and I kept bugging them saying, please, 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 can I have this? Because I want to do something with it. And they eventually released it, gave it to me. And in a few months later, we launched our Victoria Pale Ale, made with all Victorian ingredients. And it's our gateway beer. It's a 4.2% easy drinking, lightly hoppy, kind of summery, fruity, smashable beer. So
Yeah, I've done that.
it's easy to smash.
Yeah, Super Bowl, I drank the Bentley Cricket Club out of them, I reckon.
Yeah, right.
But it's fascinating that it just luckily it survived. And it's something that I'd never heard of that. I mean, that's a lot of stuff. I imagine hardly any of it will make it because there was so much. We were talking for hours, and I missed out. I got it. I got it all, and you only got the edited down version of it. You suckers should have been here.
Too bad.
Too bad.
All right, it's science time.
Got to get a lab coat.
It's either science or old school goal umpiring. All right, now's my time to truly shine. I don't like to brag about this too much as I'm a humble guy, but I did science all the way through to year 10. And now, Craig, you can take me through it or I can take you through it, whatever you prefer. Maybe
Sure, mate.
It's your place. I'll let you
thanks,
lead
mate.
the way and
Very
explain
kind.
some of these things for the viewers, so I know. I know that all the bits and pieces, what they do,
sure.
but for them.
Yeah, cool.
What do we got?
So today we're doing a bit of a bench trial for a raspberry daiquiri inspired beer that we're making. We've got some ingredients here to try out in our sort of base beer.
Yep.
So we've basically got a bit of a neutral sour beer here that we'll use as our sort of control. So I've got a couple of samples here that we can use to measure it against.
Yep.
So in this guy here, we've got some raspberry puree. So if you want to throw him in,
The whole thing?
yeah, go for it.
Oh, right.
Unless you would recommend against it.
No, I would say go all in. That's my sort of theory on life. That's my philosophy, if you will.
Nice.
Go all in. If you got a weird beaker of raspberry puree, metaphorically speaking, put it all in.
Put it all in.
Yeah.
Okay, in this one here, we've got some salt.
Okay.
You can throw him as well. So
I smelled salt. Can you smell salt?
this one, we've got some freeze-dried lime powder.
Okay.
We can go ahead and add him in. Give it a very official swirl. Try and mix it all in.
Wow. Are we expecting this?
You tell me.
Yeah, honestly, this is Newton's fourth theory of beer froth. So we're going to test against these.
Yeah, so we'll try this first as our base beer.
Yep.
And then we'll try it against this one. So if you'd like to have a taste.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I mean, that's already good.
Yeah, so it's just a base sour beer, basically, unfruited.
I'm feeling fancy all of a sudden.
Now we're going to get nothing but foam.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's very raspberry.
So yeah, good raspberry flavour.
Yeah.
Nice little hit of lime.
Yep.
Yeah, the salt is subtle but refreshing.
Oh, that's amazing. And we did this with the power of science.
That'll be a very weird way to end this.
Well, tough luck. That's how we're going to do it. Back in Sydney, I'm trying to savour every last minute from this boat ride. Even though there's really no purpose to it anymore. We booked it for the hour, I'm making the most of it. But while I'm in town, I might as well check out one of the iconic forerunners of Australia's craft beer scene, the Lord Nelson Brewery Hotel. The Lord Nelson is Sydney's oldest continually licensed hotel, and I'm going to meet the founder and publican, also a real character, Mr. Blair Hayden. I'm at the Lord Nelson Brewery Hotel with the great man Blair. What a pleasure to be in your acquaintance, if I'm saying that right.
Well, indeed. Well, I don't know if acquaintance is what you're looking for, but
That's a good start, Matt. Well done. This place goes back to like 1835?
1841 it was first licensed, but you're right. It was built initially as a residence, and the merchant that built the house saw the light and turned it into a hotel or a pub in those days. And in 87 we put a brewery in and made it Lord Nelson Brewery Hotel, the oldest existing brewery in Australia now.
There's a great range here, and Lord Nelson was one of the forerunners of the modern ale with a hoppy twist. The pub, not the old English man.
And it was about giving herbaceous flavours when they weren't supposed to be there. So in the early days when 3 sheets arrived, the hop we used was a floral hop. And people would walk in the door and say, well, what's this shit? And we said, well, actually, this is what you get from making natural ales. But really, I guess we were sort of 20 years ahead of our time.
But Blair had the foresight and stuck to his guns.
I lived in the UK for 5 years, and I saw and experienced some great British pubs, and I figured that architecturally this is an example of perfect colonial British architecture, and therefore it deserved to have an ale brewery in it. And we only make top fermented beers.
While lager is bottom fermented, old style ales are top fermented.
Natural ales, they alter. Like a wine, vintage will alter. Right. And that's the exciting thing about making ales to me. We always expect to get the same result, but we get a little bit of variance. A lot of people misunderstood, I think, what we were doing in the beginning. Now we see the craft brew scene as being extremely exciting, innovative and advanced, and that's what's so exciting about what we're doing now.
You would have slowly seen the rest of Australia catch up to you, kind of.
Well, I figured that way, but as I always said in my rugby career, I was very fast over 3 metres.
Yeah, it's those first few metres.
Well, that's breaking the gap, we
Yeah,
said.
that's
Breaking the
right.
gap,
Put a gap in them.
Yeah. We're very proud that this pub was called Lord Nelson. Horatio Nelson was a very famous sea captain.
Having lost an eye and an arm in battle, Lord Nelson fought to his death in the Battle of Trafalgar, often regarded as Britain's greatest naval victory. Ah, history. That reminds me. This show's about William Buckley, sort of.
The main reason he's famous today is because the saying that, I don't know if you know the saying, you've
Who
got
gives the
Buckley's
Buckleys?
chance. Yeah.
Or who gives the Buckleys?
Do you have You've got Buckley's.
Because I think those that try to achieve things that are beyond belief at times, you know, that's why Buckley is a great Australian, and how good is Australia for knowing and bringing back these wonderful sayings. And this hotel's all about conversing. So you meet, you talk to your friends, you get on. So now I get guys on and say, Dad introduced me to this place, and it's still an institution for him, as it is for me, and as it will be for the next person. And what I try to maintain is that it never changes, but it does. It evolves, but you walk back and you go, it's just the same as I saw it last time. You know, the brass is always polished, although you've been dirtying it up.
Not just polished brass, but Blair's the kind of publican that makes sure there's always fresh flowers out.
Because you know the little things matter, like that, like the back page of the newspaper and the dunny. Just to let you know, the Swans just beat Geelong yesterday by that much.
All right, Blair, leave the footy out of it.
I admire the craft brewing industry over the years that I've been in it. To see it evolve to the freedom it is now is really, really special to me, and it was just a dream to offer something different to the mainstream brewers who dictated what we drank, all those years ago.
The two staples here are Old Admiral and Three Sheets, the yin and yang as Blair calls them.
Three Sheets being a light herbaceous pale ale, but Old Admiral, which is our dark ale and higher in alcohol, but also what is really exciting about this beer, it has this Christmas cake spice that no one else can sort of produce, because we hold a bit of yeast back in the bottle, when we package this beer, is that it ferments within the bottle and ages really nicely.
You're one of the great characters of Australian beer.
It's been said, I wouldn't say it. Thank you, and it's been a great pleasure.
It's been a real pleasure chatting to you.
Because it comes from the heart, that's why.
I think it's a bit, well, I don't know where yours is. I think it should be a little higher than that, but I can tell if I lived close by, I'd be in here a lot.
Okay.
We walked in and you had a beer and mine and the crew's hands within seconds. Beautiful hospitality.
Thank you.
I possibly will never leave this place.
Well, you're welcome, because there are 5 rooms upstairs.
Can I take
I will
one?
give you a discount rate, of course, but...
Cheers for having us. I'm going to sneak upstairs for a feed, I reckon.
Anyway, thank you.
Back at Bad Shepherd, it's time to taste some beers.
All right, Derek, I'm ready for a beer. You up for trying a few?
Yeah, let's go. Let's try the Victoria Pale.
So this is the one with the great story about the yeast.
Yes, it is.
You took back for Australia.
Yes, I did. So this beer is, it's lightly hoppy, got a little bit of almost like a passion fruit sort of aroma, but it's really easy drinking, not too intense, not too bitter. It's a pale ale that's closer almost to a summer ale, really. Really easy drinking. It is our gateway beer. So yeah,
This is the one where a group of mates come down. One of them's like, I only drink Carlton Draft. There you go, try this one.
try this. Yeah.
Come on, be a devil.
Yeah.
Have a go.
Live a little dangerously, just once.
I'm a big fan of this beer. I love the can as well. It's good. I mean, it's every time I see it, I shed a quiet tear. God bless Victoria. This beautiful beer.
It's basically, I like to say it's a furphy done right. But ours is legit, 100% Victorian. So.
And 100%
Geez, that was
delicious.
gone. Did that touch the sides, or?
No, I realised as I was doing, I'm like, I should have probably been sipping this.
Now for a hazy. Don't think I've had one of these on this show yet.
Yeah, so this is our IPA made with a lot of flaked oats and a lot of wheat to give that hazy appearance, and then a ton of hops. So yeah, really vibrant, a mix of Australian and American hops. Gives a big sort of almost juicy sort of flavor when you're drinking it. It's like sort of like drinking an orange juice.
Yeah, love that juicy flavour.
And for the person who only drinks draft lager.
You know, if you're working them up, you know,
we'll give
you get them
we'll
in a little Carlton, right? And then you go, all right.
That's right. Yeah.
And I reckon once they've had this, I reckon...
Yeah, then tip them over, and in the industry there's a term for that called the lupulin threshold shift.
Right.
It's the oils that are in the hops that create that beautiful aroma and flavor. And the more you get into beer, the more you kind of need the lupulin. So as you get through the gateway and progress, you have a shift. So you have a lupulin threshold shift, and ultimately you're drinking triple IPAs to get your hit.
You're chasing the high.
That's what you're chasing your high, yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
This is my beer of choice, yeah.
I always lag a little bit behind, but the hazies, I was like, nah, it's West Coast. I stuck with the West Coast.
I was the same,
And now it's like, right, I think I get it.
The reason that they're intended to be hazy is about flavor. So the more haze-forming particles you have in there, the more that they can bind with the hop oils. Right. And in doing so, then you create flavor points. And then so it captures it, holds it in the beer. Whereas a clear beer won't be able to do that. So it's not really about the haze, it's about what the haze does. to capture the flavor. So, which is why it's intensely flavorsome when they're a hazy beer.
And now for something a bit different.
Have you ever drunk peanut butter before? This was one of 2 beers that part of our brew crew series that our staff made.
Right.
So our previous head chef, actually, his wife was from Ohio, and he wanted to make a beer based on that Buckeye candy. So yeah.
Right, I don't think I've ever had Buckeye candy.
Yeah.
But I can't believe it's taken this long to get peanut butter and beer together.
And there's actually no peanuts in there.
Oh, right. How do you make that happen?
Hazelnuts.
Hazel. Oh.
I would have gone with peanuts, but this makes sense. Hazelnuts, of course.
So it keeps the allergens out of the system. We do add vanilla as well, and then a lot of chocolatey, crystally malt. So, but it gives the impression.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, yeah.
Science, huh?
Yeah. It takes a little time to work it out, but you find ways. So yeah, there's actually a secret ingredient in there too, which I'll never share. But we worked very hard at it.
Is it love?
You've got it. So.
Oh, this is so nice.
Lastly, the double chocolate hazelnut brown. Oh my God. It's delicious just saying it.
Our hazelnut brown on steroids that we add Dutch processed cocoa to, as well as vanilla and frangelico. It's literally like drinking Ferrero Rocher in a glass.
Ferrero Rocher. I feel very fancy.
Yeah, and so you should. Rather chocolate.
Unwrap that golden foil. Oh,
That's
hello.
right. This beer won a gold medal for us at the Australian Beer Awards as well.
Light enough to drink in the warmer weather, probably. But you have it out mainly in the winter.
Yeah. So launching in April, and it's usually because it's a one-off. We make it once a year. It's gone by within sort of 2 or 3 months. So probably by August it'll be gone.
And there's not just beer here, so I'll cap off my stay with a feed.
This one all right?
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you.
No problem.
I'll have a little tipple. 4-barrel Russian Imperial Stout.
2018.
2018, a fine vintage. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Oh, my word, that's a 2018 4-barrel aged Russian Imperial Stout, and that is delicious. I'm having a ball down here at the Bad Shepherd Brewing Co. So if you don't mind, take your cameras away and I'm going to really enjoy myself, all right? Cheers.
Back to me in Sydney. I'm feeling the effects of Blair's hospitality. So now, let's watch me attempt an episode outro. Enjoy. Bloody hell, what a fantastic time I've had up here in Sydney, and hopefully you also had a good one down in Melbourne. I honestly can't tell you how good it's been for me, and hopefully also good for you. And the thing that makes me the happiest is how many more good times there are still to come, because we're not even halfway through this bloody season of the Beer Pioneer. So I'll catch you next week and we'll get on with even more beer type stuff on the Beer Pioneer. If we can go for one that will actually work, that'll be even better. Okay, I'll keep it real tight. Okay.